All right.
Mandalorian!
We're here. We're live. It's costume day.
Mandalorian! Silver, are you okay?
Yeah, I know. Oh, General Grievous. Nothing can stop General Grievous.
I realized last minute that I had a robe, so I had to throw a crazy robe on.
Mandalorian!
What's up, everyone? Mandalorian!
We are back, and in honor of I don't know if everyone saw today that they had like a meeting of everybody dressed as a Wookiee, which I don't know that I've seen that before. We have to, show some holiday special love with the Wookiees because it was kind of crazy to see so many people dressed as Wookiees all together. And there was a big white, like abominable snowman Yeti Wookiee walking around. So it was a good day.
And today was the big cosplay contest.
Oh yes. I wish they streamed that.
I do too. And yeah, now I thought there was a reason we were dressed up today.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
We just wanted to have fun today. I feel like we're keep the party still going.
Oh, yeah, I walk both worlds.
Yeah.
Except for you can only see in one of them.
Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Welcome to day 3 of our Super Live Star Wars Celebration coverage. How's everybody holding? Silver, how are you holding in there? What's going on? How's your Sunday been?
Falling apart here. It's been good. It's been good. I decided actually this morning to have the live stream on my phone while I needed to go kind of step outside. So I did like a small little flea market run while listening to the live stream. But I think I'm starting to break down a little bit. I woke up and next thing you know, I was taking like 3 naps in between the streams, and I kept waking up in the middle of a panel thinking like, whoa, where am I at? But it's been good. It's been good. It's been really fun. But hey, can't believe it's almost over. Isn't that crazy? We're at the end of day 3.
We're 2/3 of the way through. Yeah, I think we're getting in the same boat where it's like it seemed like we're at home and just sitting on the couch. It would be less tiring than walking around all day, but somehow I feel like I'm just as tired
I know.
as I was walking around at one. So
yeah, for sure.
It's
Same
a
here.
very accurate at-home experience to being there.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I've just been camping out in my living room. It's pretty wild. So I was like, you know what? I think I need to go like get some fresh air, and I think I'll be okay.
Just as exhausting as being at Celebration for real.
Yeah,
the time is flying by as fast too. I still I feel like we just woke up and it was like 6 a.m. and now it's already 2 o'clock. They flew by.
Yeah, but then when I think back to the Villains of the Sequel Trilogy panel, that seems like a week ago, and that was this morning.
Yeah, I know. It was like dark outside. It seems like it was the last night. For me, it was so dark outside when the Villains of the sequel panel was going on. I was like, wow, it really feels like it's so far away. So nuts. What a great panel that was too.
Yeah, real quick too. Happy Easter, everyone. Happy Jackson Day.
Yes.
May Jackson bring you all your Easter baskets.
Yeah. May he lay an egg in your yard.
It looks so
the
ridiculous.
villains panel was cool because have we gotten an Andy Serkis panel since the sequel trilogy?
I don't
Where
think
he
so.
talked about
No.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that was cool, and it was cool that now, he's got 2 reasons to show up. So he
Yeah.
can talk about Snoke and he can talk about Kino. So that was fun. Ian McDermott is always fun.
Gwendolyn Christie, oh my goodness, it was so much fun having her back too. Yeah, it was so good.
She was cool.
Yeah, too cool.
We've decided too, if we ever need a third podcast member for Blast Points, we could ask Gwendolyn Christie because she's tall enough.
Oh, that's true.
Because we have a poll. We have a poll. You have to be taller than to
yeah.
She would fit. So
for sure.
I was saying before we get too deep into the events of today, which later we're going to be joined by the madman Nick Tierce talking about what happened and what didn't happen at the Disney Parks panel.
Mm-hmm.
We had a request from someone named Phil Showstack. I don't know. I've never heard of him, but he wants to know more about the hero of the Superlive Celebration at Home, the Mandalorian Kid.
Gosh.
We have a little bit more information on our hero, the Mandalorian Kid, right? Right, Silver?
Yes. Yeah. Let's see. So his YouTube, if you guys check out his YouTube channel, he is posting content throughout the day. There's some like short little short videos of him. But yes.
You could.
Let me see. You guys got to really just go and subscribe to his channel, guys, because I think he'd really appreciate it. Yeah, he is the cutest. I forgot his name real quick.
Luca.
Luca, that's his name. The best name for the hero. And he turns 12. He's 11 years old. He turns 12 on May the 5th. So so
good timing for him.
Revenge of the Sith on the 5th. He has his birthday. He has a birthday. So go check this kid out.
Yeah,
if we were a little more savvy, we would have had his information ready to go. But we're trying to find it so we can type it so people can see.
Okay, here you go.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. It's going to show up on your screen here. It's super.
Yes.
QW super dash QW2RV. Hold on, everybody. It's coming up on your screen. QW2RV.
That look right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, and then he speaks Spanish. He has 14 videos up. His name is Luca, and he says, I'm going to translate. Hi, friends. My name is Luca. Welcome to my channel, and let me share you a little bit part of my life. So, Luca, if you by chance stumble upon this video, just know that you are a hero amongst all our Star Wars fans, but most importantly, our hearts. Look at that kid, man. Luca.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he pretty much just said, hey guys, I'm gonna turn 12 on May 5th, so make sure you guys like and subscribe this channel. It's pretty much what he's saying. So you guys were all obligated to do it.
Yeah. But we're never gonna stop talking about him. He is the hero of 2023, one of the highlights, if not maybe the highlight of this celebration. So yeah. Give him the love he deserves.
Give him the love. Yeah.
Luca. Yeah. I'm Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Seriously, the best.
Yeah, right. If it wasn't for him, Jason wouldn't be wearing the Django costume.
I know. You know
which
what?
is not tied or zipped up in the back because it may not actually close.
No,
I
it doesn't.
I was just gonna ask. Is this from 2002?
This is from 2002. It's a little short in the arm. But, you do what you can do.
Yeah, Luca brought that inner child and inspiration for Jason to bust out the Mandalorian outfit. So
Yeah, good job, Haley. And we've got
yes.
we've got to let him know. We got to let Luca know that he's got fans. If
Yeah, he's got fans. He's got supporters.
yeah, Phil Shostak wanted to know who is the Mandalorian kid. So
Now everybody knows.
now everyone knows.
His name's Luca. Has the coolest birthday. So yes, Luca, a hero amongst us.
He's got to know how much he saved our lives on Friday. So we had the villains of the sequel trilogy panel. It was kind of we needed Adam Driver at that though. That was kind of like a big.
Yeah, I wasn't optimistic, but I thought maybe we would get a video at least from Adam Driver saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, I'm Adam Driver. Bye." Like not even saying anything, just
Yeah.
just a video of him. But at least he's consistent.
Yeah,
He consistently has better to do always when there's a celebration. So
Consistently
Good for him.
busy. Yeah, good for him.
we had some Fallen Order stuff going on in the morning.
That was really cool. Yeah. So the director came on stage and kind of explained a little bit of the gameplay, the just the different the customization has been a huge spark of conversation because we can get mullet Cal Kestis, we can get different we can get him with a mustache or him with a full beard, and so it's kind of cool to kind of talk about that a little bit more. Obviously, see just like the preview more of the game, but it's just really cool. I mean, honestly, this game is just so anticipated. I'm so excited. I actually took 2 days off after when the game releases because I'm gonna try and get as much as I'm gonna crush as much as I can done. See, I'm still keeping the celebration. Let me just take some time off work and just kind of lock myself in this room and try to get as much gameplay as I can in. But yeah, it was so cool having the director. Cameron Monaghan coming out in a poncho, no less, was just the highlight of my morning. I probably jumped out of my couch and screamed poncho. So it was really cool. Yeah, really cool. And we got to see a final trailer, which is just, hello, we have a Rancor. You can fight a Rancor in this game. It's nuts. It's so cool.
Well, I'm hoping you can make friends with the Rancor too, because at this point, Boba's taught us that Rancors can be friends. So.
Yeah. Have them join on the journey.
Yeah.
Which I think somebody was hitting the customize button on Ewan McGregor today too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. When we get to that, Ewan McGregor was character created today.
Loved it.
I loved the Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor super fans that they kept cutting to in the front that Cameron gave his poncho to.
Yeah.
His sweaty poncho.
Yeah.
But
just like a rock star.
Yeah.
We just take off this poncho real quick and toss it into the crowd.
Oh yeah. Matt G talking about Rancors. I hear they're quite loving.
Yeah.
So then what we had with the whole Davis family came out. I can't remember where in the day that was. Warwick Davis and his wife and son.
No, it's his daughter.
His daughter. Oh
yeah, his daughter. His daughter plays Mims from the new Willow show. Who
put the helmet back on? You're on timeout now.
Oh, I completely missed that. I don't know if that was. I took a few naps in between this live stream, so I don't remember when exactly they came out.
It was sometime in the morning they came out. It was a little sad because they were talking about the Willow show, which no one really knows what's going on, if there's going to be another season or not. But they told some good stories of people thinking his son was Warwick and calling him Warwick, and he's like, "I'm not Warwick," and what else? I don't know. Other craziness. It's just fun to see them all together and that they get to work together.
Yeah, super cool that he was able to have his family on the show. And I love Mims. The character, one of my favorite characters in that show was Warwick's daughter, Mims. So huge fan.
So then,
Um,
with the Obi-Wan panel, right? The looking back at Obi-Wan Kenobi, was that the next thing on your list, Silver?
yeah, that's next thing on my list. Before that, Vivian Lyra Blair came on
Oh.
the stage too, which was really cute. Who, by the way, is so, I mean, just a professional. It's insane listening to this young person speak. But super cute. She kind of gave her, and I completely forget that Christina Ariel was in Obi-Wan Kenobi as an extra. So they had like some little, yeah. So there's some little like prior relationship that they had, but yeah. So she was so cute coming on stage, and yeah. But that was the next panel that I'm embarrassingly gonna say that I woke up in the middle of the panel. I was not, it was so early in the morning for me. I felt like, wow, what happened to me? I couldn't even, I woke up, we're in the middle of an Obi-Wan Kenobi panel, and just shot out of, woke up and
it's just like a real celebration.
yeah.
You want to be awake so bad. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're seeing Attack of the Clones 3D for the first time ever. You might still fall asleep.
True story. Yeah, Silver. Celebration 2015 in Anaheim, the double feature started late at night.
Well, late at night, like 7.
But this is the day after we waited in line overnight on concrete for the Force Awakens panel. And that so then after that next day was double feature at night hosted by David Collins, Phantom Menace 3D, Attack of the Clones 3D, the US premiere of Attack of the Clones 3D.
Because it never came out in the theaters because they
come on, bring it up.
Yeah.
We were like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
We're doing it. We were so pumped. And then literally Attack of the Clones starts and we all fall asleep.
Yeah, that's it.
I woke
True
up.
Story, yeah.
I woke up. Camino was happening. I fell back asleep, woke up again, pissed off, and I watched the whole end battle. I think you slept through the whole thing.
I might have woke up for the wedding. That would. I think I saw the robot hand in 3D.
But what's hilarious?
We were so mad.
But what's hilarious? Like when I woke up, like the Geonosis battle, I was like looking around, and the whole place was sleeping.
Everybody was
out
because everyone was.
Yeah, everybody did Force Awakens.
It was nice and comfy here. Let me just close my eyes a bit. That just tells us that, hey, Attack of the Clones is just our classic favorite cozy movie that can put us to sleep. So, but man, the once in a lifetime to watch 3D.
I know. Good job.
But yeah, the Obi-Wan panel was cool. It was cool to see everyone. Little Leia. We were trying to figure like how long ago did they film that? Because she looks exactly the same in the show, and that had to have been at least a year or two ago. Like it's kind of incredible that she was that good that when she was even younger, and it's even more incredible, that she's still like that now. So it was fun to see her. It was fun to see Ewan McGregor's mustache and his crazy hair that does not look. He didn't look like Obi-Wan today. He looked like Ewan.
Yeah,
compared to the past.
Yeah, I know that mustache is. I mean, it sparks a conversation today, definitely.
So big when he would turn his head.
And
it was like a duckbill. It was like a duckbill.
Yeah, it's a pretty thick mustache. Like, whoa. I really enjoyed that panel because each cast. Deborah Chow was there. They were all able to kind of share their favorite moment and stuff from the show, which is really, really nice to kind of hear, especially after the show said and done, kind of what they, which part that they really liked. But there was a moment where Hayden said that his favorite moment was the rematch that they had and after the battle and the cracked mask and the dialogue between Anakin and Obi-Wan. After they showed that, Ewan and Hayden like kind of gave each other a hug and stuff, and you can just as we all know how important and great that was for us as fans, it was really sweet to kind of see how much it impacted them, which is really cool, for sure. So that was a cool little highlight of the panel for me.
Well, at least, yeah, you woke up for the best parts. At the end.
Like,
You just missed the warm up, so that's good. You didn't really miss it as much.
yeah, but I was just like, I had no idea where I was. Can't believe I was in the middle of the panel. It was wild. Yeah.
J-Loft, missed panel. Any sign of Kenobi 2?
You would ask if people wanted another season, and everybody cheered, but that we'll see what that means.
There was an interview with Kathleen Kennedy, something maybe Variety or something, where they were going more in detail about stuff, and they asked about another season of Kenobi, and she said it was not in development, but she said she knows Ewan wants to do it. So it was like, we'll see.
Yeah, but we were trying to figure out what Deborah Chow's been up to, because all the other Mandalorian directors have come back for Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew, and after Kenobi, maybe she just needed a break, or is she working on some other secret Star Wars thing? We don't know.
It was a lot of Kenobi clips.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of clips, but not the Inquisitor coming out and saying hello.
I was hoping that would have been someone's favorite scene.
Come on.
Hello.
That didn't happen.
On. That's everyone's favorite scene. It's crazy because Deborah Chow, like, I think she said that she was this project was like 3 years for her. So maybe a break, or maybe she's working on something and it just can't be revealed yet, but it's so crazy. 3 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to work on one thing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's easy to forget that everything we're watching what has been done for or at least filmed at least a year before we're watching it, and then all the pre-production sort of stuff before that. So
it takes time,
hard work.
I was wishing they would mention Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
There was no memorial to Wade.
R.I.P. If they had a moment of silence in the auditorium, dim the lights.
Just wanted to be a hero. Hey, look, we're hearing from Kara live from London.
Eating lousy
hotel pizza. Is that possible? Like, is there such a thing as what? Do the Brits know how to make pizza?
Yeah, like what makes it lousy? Is it like the ratio, the sauce, the cheese ratio, the crust?
Is it waxy? Is it greasy? Is it
waxy?
You know what I mean.
There's nothing wrong with waxy pizza sometimes.
Still pizza.
Yeah.
Still pizza.
I've had plenty of bad pizza and it's been pretty good.
It's usually still pretty good.
Yeah.
It's cheese and bread, so I mean I just feel like can't go wrong.
Yeah, so what another thing, like Rob Brito came out, the head honcho of ILM, and this was kind of like a under the radar kind of thing.
Yeah, because he was saying he was one of the producers on Acolyte.
And
I was trying to look up to see how often he's listed as a producer, if that's something special, kind of implying maybe there's more ILM's doing more stuff than they might be doing on other shows, or they're doing something that they hadn't done before, so they need to bring in the big bosses and the big guns to make sure things are working. Because he was talking about being on set and
working with Leslie and stuff.
So that was interesting.
Which Gabe and I then this morning had a very long conversation of Yoda in the Acolyte. Will Yoda be in the Acolyte, and what will their approach to Yoda be in the Acolyte, and how interesting?
Right. Will it look well?
There's the answer right there.
Yeah.
Everyone, let's not forget the amazing episode 1 puppet, the youngest Yoda we're ever gonna see.
There he is.
It has to be slightly closer, I would hope, slightly closer to this Master Yoda here.
I was hoping that maybe he has like a pencil thin mustache, like a black little dark mustache. It's like a dapper Yoda.
Carrie, we got a pizza update
Oh,
from
yeah,
Kara DJ here.
yeah.
It was a stuffed,
Breaking news, London update.
sauce stuffed, but it was all good. Like I'm kind of into this idea. Sauce,
wait.
yeah, sauce stuffed.
Oh, okay. So sauce inside the crust.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is now I'm intrigued.
I'm very
Yeah, because
intrigued.
it's like we have
Yeah.
cheese stuffed crust here, pepperoni stuffed crust. I don't think
Yeah,
in the US we have. In California, do they have sauce crust?
N-
Sauce stuffed crust?
no,
I'm kind
but
of in it. It's like a gusher.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Daphne Keene says she's playing an alien Jedi CGI character as a series regular. Well, and
Oh.
2, we've got a Max Rebo kid, but that's
Yeah.
not,
But that's
in
a skeleton.
Yeah, but he's CG.
he's CG. The head is CG.
Mhm.
I think everything is very
Everything's CG.
Yeah,
he's
because the
wearing-
pictures that we saw, he was wearing some sort of motion capture
yeah,
thing, right?
Facebook capture, but I
Yeah.
don't know. He wasn't wearing a mocap suit or anything. Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I
Bill
guess we'll
Rudd,
find
good
out.
question. What's Yaddle up to during Acolyte?
That's true.
Well-
Whoa! I forgot about Bryce Dallas Howard as
Right, that's right,
Yeah,
right.
keeping the
Yeah.
performers in the family here. Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard is I've been hanging around doing a lot of fun Star Wars stuff. I did like this on the stage with we were he was also Rob Brito was also talking about kind of gave a solo mention of saying one of his highlights of his career was because they talked about stagecraft and how how far it's grown. But I just love how they Ron Howard had the idea of like, let's surprise the cast when they jump to hyperspeed and like kind of like shake the cockpit and stuff. And he said that was I really think that's really cool. Like, for him, like a highlight of his career is kind of seeing like, everyone else geek out too. And Ron Howard, as always, is a great director when it comes to, working with actors and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, well, we're still hoping for a solo Lando TV show someday. It's like we want to see all those characters again.
Yeah.
So,
We were talking about that the other day. We were talking about the difference now, like the clear difference in the movies they announced on Friday versus what they're doing on TV. And Kathy Kennedy has said in just like every interview that the TV shows is where they get weird and take risks, and the movies are the big stories that should be watched on the big screen. And we were just talking about how if Solo was being made now, it would have been a series.
Absolutely. Man, I hope so. I love that. I love Solo so much. I would love nothing more to get, some sort of continuation from that story, for sure.
And Nathan Roberts as Plagueis was around. We might get a Mun, which would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, we haven't had a Mun.
Oh yeah.
Acolyte is going to be crazy. I think that's the.
Yeah. I finally tracked down the leaked footage of the trailer online, and oh wow, it looks good. There's a lot of Jedi. There's a lot of creatures. There's a lot going on. It looks really good.
Lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, Bill Rudd saying, I heard talk that Rogue Squadron might become a series too. Yeah, that's what Kathy was saying. That's discussion. So go for it.
Yeah.
Well, and we were saying too, like what happens in the Rey, the New Jedi Order movie, could be around the same timeline as Rogue Squadron. So there could be some overlap, and maybe they're waiting to kind of open the door to that era of stories there. I don't know.
Well, we've talked about too. It would be cool to get an animated series in the sequel trilogy, because we really, all the other kind of time frames have gotten at least a season of an animated show, and other than Resistance, which is in the middle of everything, it would be cool to get like a post Rise of Skywalker animated show as well.
Yeah,
for sure.
Another big thing today was Hayden Christensen, right, on the live stage, kind of coming out with thunderous applause.
That was quite an introduction too. They set up the stage really well for him. He had a crazy intro. Like it was like almost like you're at a concert for a second.
It's like WWE.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was like, wow, this
like the Undertaker was coming out or something.
Yeah, I felt like definitely felt like I was at WWE for sure. Yeah, really cool. So happy that our friend Christina got to interview him too, because she's such a fan for a long time. But I just love that this guy just feels the love and appreciation for him this time around. And oh man, I was getting emotional watching this.
Well,
For
yeah, and
sure.
it's fun thinking back to when he first showed up in Orlando for the 40th
Orlando.
anniversary panel,
Mhm.
and it just came out for a little bit, and everybody was excited and cheering, and then now getting to come back for Kenobi and do all of that in what is that, Chicago, Anaheim? Wait, no, I'm so confused now.
What?
Of how many times we've had Hayden out? Because if the 40th was in Orlando, what was going on? Were they there in Chicago?
I don't think he was there in Chicago. I know for sure Orlando.
Yeah, so there was a break. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
back
Yeah,
for
and then
back
he
for
came back
Anaheim
for
with all the
Anaheim for the
Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
stuff.
premiere and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Ahmed Best was Chicago. That was like the big deal. there.
Yeah.
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 Well, and then we had, of course, Sky Talkers and Talking Bay both did their respective shows, and the Holonet News stage with the pictures online look like they both had amazing turnouts. Of course, no surprise.
Do we know if Brandon bought the Ewok Escapades?
The Escapades banner? Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Because
Someone give us an update,
yeah, if he
please.
didn't, we're gonna be mad at him.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's not enough Ewoks on Ice stuff in the world.
Yeah, Brandon was
There
doing
is not.
Don't Let Me Buy This Live, which was great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope he bought stuff.
that was like more than anything, like a lot of the, oh, I wish I could be there for that,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like so much of like our friends are just, having as much as I know we talk about like the big news that's been coming out all weekend. I think what makes Celebration too is just like seeing just like just the content creators kind of have their own panels. And that was kind of my first experience with Celebration. I walked into Orlando, had no idea about big panels and like just so inexperienced. I just stumbled upon a lot of like smaller like stages that had podcasts or just like costume designs or droid building, and those are just like incredible for me. So those are always just so much fun. But yeah, so many friends having all their panels is just kind of like the stuff that I'm like, oh, wish I was there.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing missing from doing the Celebration from home is all of that. And yeah, we've said it a million times, those smaller panels, whether it's the fan ones or just smaller ones, and the little rooms you miss if you're not looking, is like some of the best stuff you're going to see and the most fun you're going to have.
When we first saw in 2015, when we first saw Spina, that was a pretty small panel, and that was a huge influence on starting Blast Points and everything we've done. And in Chicago, we went to the History of the Radio Dramas with the amazing Tenuto family. And that also was one of the most incredible, mind-blowing panels we'd ever been to. And yeah, it was a very small little room. And
yeah.
And we had the pub before we cut to commercial. We had the publishing panel, which kind of like just wrapped up not that long ago. Was there anything interesting coming out of the
breaking news? Kristen Baver, who's writing for the Return of the Jedi from a Certain Point of View anthology book, she will be writing a small story of Sice Noodles.
No big deal. Yeah, and what she said, one of her influences on the Sice Noodles story was Miss Piggy, right?
Oh, I know. I'm already like, yes.
That Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi, I cannot wait for that.
We've kind of been waiting that since the first one.
Yeah,
it was when the first one came, I was like, man, only 6 more years.
Yeah. I have to admit, I felt the same way. Return of the Jedi is my favorite movie, and I just said, listen, they're doing one of these. We're gonna have to wait for the 40th anniversary. Yep, had the same thought too.
Yeah. I thought it was cool too that the upcoming Star Wars Timelines book that looks amazing, that I guess they were selling at Celebration and sold out.
Yeah,
they said it's one of the most ambitious nonfiction books they've ever done. which is really, really, really interesting. I can't wait to get my hands on that Timelines book.
Yeah. Same here.
Because that makes me think of, that was like the thing, the Solo book. I remember the Solo making of book, which was Rob Bretto's book, was one of those ones you could buy early at Celebration. So it's cool that they're still kind of doing that for people at the show. They can get some of those books early.
Yeah, like the exclusives and stuff.
Well, the other big panel today was the Disney Parks panel. And I think after we're going to cut to commercial, and then after we get back from commercial, we're going to have the living legend Nick Tierce on to offer his expertise into the Disney Parks panel. So we'll see everybody in just a little bit here.
トゥモラインパルスジョージ・ルーカススーパーライブアドベンチャースター・ウォーズインディ・ジョーンズルーカス映画がライブになって大阪城ホールにやってくる映画を超えたライブの迫力ルーカスヒーローたちが君を待っているさらにこのスーパーライブの舞台裏をスペシャルプログラムでオンエアスーパーライブアドベンチャー誕生の秘密が今明かされる
かなり期待してください
3月20日土曜日午後4時から放送これはもう見逃せないジョージ・ルーカス大阪城ホールいっぱいに展開されるルーカスファンタジー全米オーディションで選ばれた精鋭たちにより着々と制作進行中
私に会いに来い
ラインパルスジョージ・ルーカススーパーライブアドベンチャー
All right, Nick Tierce.
Bright suns, everybody, and good journey to you. Hello.
What's up, Nick?
Let me tell you, what a day.
Yo, what a day.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
You like my Batu hat? This is
That
my
Batu
Batu
hat.
hat.
It's too good.
It's but too
It's the
good.
official Batu
It's
hat.
but too yes,
Yeah.
but too it's
It
but
has
too good.
see, you know it's official because it has the logo on it.
Oh yeah, there we go. Look at the good stuff.
It's not bad too much. It's just right.
I don't know how to play the guitar, so I thought I should at least put the Batu hat on.
Batu hat is great.
Oh, Nick, how has your celebration from home experience been? How has it been the last few days? How have you been feeling?
Well, it's interesting because for the first 2 days I was in Florida, so the time difference wasn't as bad in terms of waking up for that live stream. But man, I was back in California this morning, and when that alarm clock went off, I started to ask myself how much I wanted to watch the villains panel. So I may have been pulling. I may have been pulling a Attack of the Clones style, a little bit of a nap throughout the villains panel. But after that, I was refreshed and ready to go.
Nothing more relaxing than sleeping during Star Wars. It really is.
It's the ultimate lullaby. Exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, because we're getting up at 5 every day.
Yeah.
Which is which is draining, but it's not like what you West Coast folks are
But
doing.
It is 4 for me.
It is it's 4 Gabe time. But
that's
you're
still-
kind of adjusted now.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
So you just to
But
remind
it's still not. Yeah. It's not like California.
yeah, just to
Also,
remind
I just noticed this in the picture. This is the length of the tags on every
It
Disney
looks like
Parks clothing item.
it
This
looks
is
like a
the tag.
CVS receipt.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I know, and it's on every t-shirt, every sweater, t-shirt, hat you buy. You get a CVS receipt made out of
I know.
fabric attached. It's
Is
insane.
there coupons in the back of that tag?
So you can tie
Oh,
all
oh,
together into a bundle.
so just to remind
we
our
know
viewing
they don't do coupons.
Just to remind our viewing audience at home, what time is it where the stream begins for all of you?
I think today was like 2 something.
Yeah, it was like 2 to 3. I had my alarm set for 3, and the panel was already
Yeah,
going.
same. I woke
So-
up. Yeah, you guys, this is not early in the morning. This is the middle of the night, like
Yeah.
situation we have
But now you
going
guys
on.
know how we feel when a Mandalorian episode comes out.
Oh, that's
because
right.
You guys can
Mhm.
stay up and watch it at midnight. If we got up, it would be 3 a.m. So
Yeah, for sure.
And I was on the East Coast for this week's Mandalorian episode, so I went ahead and I did that version of it, and I'm very grateful for my West Coast time zone in terms of that kind of weekly drop. So I'll never complain about it again.
Oh man, with last week's, you probably thought you were hallucinating.
No, my wife and I were just giggling the entire time, like we just couldn't believe it. Yeah.
So do you? I'm always curious with West Coast. Do you watch Mandalorian and then can you go back to sleep?
I go back to sleep because Mandalorian, we're talking 25 to 40 minutes usually. That'll get me in bed before 1 a.m. Especially those days where they're dropping them at like 11:45, 11:50.
Oh.
No problem.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky.
I don't know if
Yeah.
I'd be able to fall asleep though.
Yeah,
I've learned that I can't. I've learned that I can't.
Yeah.
I would not be able to function at work. I just learned like, okay, I got to wake up early to watch it. Especially like a fantastic episode like the last episode. I probably would have just been, on adrenaline, probably on Twitter, trying to talk about it. It's hard for me. But if I'm like not working the next day, I wouldn't mind waiting up till midnight. Actually, like probably like especially like for the finales where it's just like I know everyone's gonna tune in for a big finale. That's when I'll stay up for it for sure.
It's hard to sleep after you break dance down the street doing the moonwalk.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Well, particularly after that Keller and Beck episode, I was just because that one I had to pause. Like I rarely am so emotional I have to pause an episode, but with that one I really did have to take a break, so that one took a little bit longer, and that one I was up a little bit later just processing the experience of that for sure.
So Nick, the Disney Parks panel was today. Before any of us say anything, what are your thoughts? Just go.
I would say that anyone who missed the Disney Parks panel today, if you watched the Disney Parks panel last year, you saw the Disney Parks panel today, which is to say that during the announcements section, which always comes at the end, they save the announcements for the end. Everything they announced was what was announced last year. Might have added a little asterisk on it, like, coming next year, but, in terms of, big news, it was honestly the only piece of new information was an offhanded comment from Matt Martin where he said the Young Jedi Adventures animated show will be going to Batuu. That was something we didn't know before. And that was just sort of something he kind of casually rolled off as he was going through all the different narrative extensions of the parks. And so that I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. Because I was already excited for that show. And so I'm very curious to see, because that was something that was supposed to happen for Resistance. And there were all these plans in place for the Resistance crew on that series to go to Batuu. And when that didn't happen, it was kind of that question of, will it ever appear on screen at all? In any kind of fashion, because you would think animation would be the first stop. And indeed, it would appear that animation will be the first stop. It's going to be Young Jedi Adventures instead of Resistance. But yeah, so that was great to hear. But I don't even think that was necessarily one of the big planned announcements. That was just included information. And so, yeah, it was very interesting. It was a very interesting thing. And, I'd be very curious what the feeling was in the room, because there's one thing to watch the live stream from home, but being in the room, sometimes those parks panels can hit the room a different way. And so I'll be curious to read people's in-person reports from that.
I kind of wish I fell asleep during that panel because I would be more rested right now.
Little did you know, you were waiting for the big bombshell, because I posted like 3 predictions of what I thought the 3 announcements were going to be, because they had 3 panelists. And so I thought, there's a reason that these panels are there. Anne Morrow is very associated with Star Cruiser. She's going to make some kind of announcement about Star Cruiser. I figured Trowbridge would actually announce the Mandalorian as the destinations for Star Tours, because they said new destinations coming to Star Tours last year's celebration panel. So I thought it seems inevitable it's going to be a Mandoverse thing. Maybe they'll just say what planet it's going to be or something like that. I assumed Asa Kalama was going to be there to talk about his attraction, Smuggler's Run, which that was one where there were 4 planned missions for it, and 3 of them were canceled due to the over budget on Rise of the Resistance. And so I thought maybe Asa being there is an indication. I was looking for clues on who was on the panel and what they might talk about. And my predictions for announcements were completely wrong because there were no announcements.
What? Oh, so what? Do we know anything more about the locations for where, or the different missions for the Smuggler's Run? Like what was that supposed to be?
All we've seen is a kind of underground tentacle monster concept art. So there was some kind of, I don't know if it was a Rathtar or if it was some other new tentacle monster, but there was like pipes and tentacles coming out, but that was just a painting. Now, that being said, people who have worked on the digital side of that experience have mentioned that they were pretty far along in the development. So I don't know what the others would have been, but there were multiple non-coaxium at the current mission, which goes to Corellia. There were other planets than that would have been in rotation. And so it's like a stage just waiting for another play to go on it. They've got the most advanced interactive ride system ever built with a custom video processor that they went on and did other non-Star Wars Celebration trade shows talking about this video card that they built for this ride. And it's just not being fully utilized. So it's one of those things where they can do that at any time. So hopefully that's in the future, but sadly that was not in the announcements today.
Yeah, because it seems weird with Star Tours. It's like we're on the 3rd season of Mandalorian. If they were going to do some Mandalorian stuff, they've had a long time to do it. And then
if I can switch my Batu hat for my tinfoil hat, here. This is the one I made for Oga's birthday. Because for some reason they decided to celebrate Oga's birthday. So here, this is my tinfoil hat. This is my theory hat. All right, my theory. Because you're right. You are completely right. Remember when there was that Mando tie-in book that was canceled and kind of the visual dictionary that was canceled? There was some kind of seismic shift in the behind-the-scenes approach to ancillary media for The Mandalorian. I have a sense that there was potentially some Parks implications to that as well. When that book got canceled, or that roster of books got canceled, I think it's possible, because you're right, it seems completely inevitable that you would have flown behind the Razor Crest and Baby would have waved at you through the window or something like this. It seems like an obvious one to do. They have all the assets, right? Like it would be too easy for them to render it. But I don't know. That's the only theorizing I'm going to do on my appearance here.
Yeah, because it almost makes it seem like if they're not going to show anything until next year, that they're skipping Mandalorian and it's going to be from something that hasn't come out yet. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, why wouldn't it either A, be out, or they would tell you what it is because it's something you've already seen.
Right, and that's kind of obliquely what I think Trowbridge was making slightly more hints towards when he went on the live stage rather than at the panel. He kind of came out and said, we want you to experience them alongside and that kind of thing. And he kind of hinted at places, maybe even planets we don't know yet. And that's hard to, I don't want to overinterpret the actual wording of what he said, but it could be something from Ahsoka or one of the Acolyte, one of these shows coming up. I would think it's going to be interesting though, because the way that they currently handle Star Tours is very particular, which is every time you load into a Star Tours vehicle, you are either going to get a random set of locations from the original Adventures Continue set of George Lucas made locations, or you are going to get a sequel trilogy set, which includes all of the Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Galaxy's Edge destinations. And it alternates. So if you and your cabin just got a sequel trilogy, the cabin that loads in behind you will get Adventures Continue. And so I'm very curious how that randomization will be treated when we potentially have non-sequel trilogy timeline concepts. Now, they could just throw them all into one big bucket and say, look, there is no timeline anymore. But by hook or by crook, they have been attempting to create within your ride a self-contained sort of timeline, which is a huge stretch, obviously, even back when Adventures Continue was happening. But
that kind of maybe makes sense then if they're waiting then to have enough stuff for like a third timeline that is the Mandalorian universe of
Mm,
Skeleton
mhm.
Crew, Ahsoka, Mandalorian, and that sort of
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah.
That would
And just
be
bank them up.
other
Maybe
way.
they've got some Mandos in the hopper that they can add in. And quite frankly, what they always do is when they drop a new one, they know everyone wants to ride it, so they don't randomize it. They push it for everyone. So when Rise of Skywalker came out, everyone got Exegol and everyone got the Dianoga on the Death Star and Kef Bir. So, there will be a period of time, and probably much longer than you would anticipate, that when the Mando stuff drops, it will be all Mando all the time, and we'll miss the days when we either dive over or bump into Jar Jar going down to Oda Gunga. Because there's variabilities. That's the thing, is even within the destinations that you get, there are variabilities within those destinations. So if you get Naboo, you don't know if you're going to get the one where you hit Jar Jar or where he ducks down. If you go to Jakku, you don't know if you're going to get the one where it's Rey or where it's Finn talking to you on the little side window. So, they can do a lot of intervariability even within that. So the number of options is pretty vast. And obviously it'll only get bigger as they keep going. So very curious, very interested, but it seems like their mum at this point and don't want to give us any kind of even hints at what that could be. So new Star Tours is always great. So I can't complain about that.
Yeah. And they said in 2024, right? Is that kind of the date they
Right. And that's what kind of makes it even harder, is it's like the gist of that announcement was the thing we announced a year ago will not be here for at least another year.
I think we were even saying that last year when we were there. Why aren't they doing Mandalorian? Because you've got to think, we're all talking, we're all crazy, but your normal people at a Disney park that just like, I like that Mandalorian show. I think that's really fun. I like that Baby Yoda. They are going to be going on that. And honestly, if they're getting Crate at this point, they're going to be like, that movie's old. I want to see Baby Yoda. I want to see the Mandalorian. And if it's 2024, I was just like, well, what? They're really betting big on not Acolyte and Ahsoka, or it could even be Andor season 2 or something.
Or Rangers of the New Republic will not be a series. It will be an exclusive story you can only experience on the Star Tours.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Are we able to highlight Bill Rudd's comment here, the most recent one?
This one?
Made a very good. Yeah, it's cool that they acknowledge Star Cruiser as a top-rated attraction across Disney. This is actually a really excellent point, because I've been hearing this kind of grapevine style whispers across from people who are not really allowed to talk about it, that it's one of those things where Star Cruiser, the ratings, like the guest survey ratings of satisfaction on Star Cruiser, are through the roof. Wow. Maybe the highest for any attraction they have ever built. And so when I was glad Trowbridge mentioned that, because he kind of made it seem like a casual thing, but their surveys are not casual. They do pay attention to those. And it is consistently, people who have done it rate it through the roof. And there's been a lot of external debate just among the fans, and let's be frank, the non-fans, about how Star Cruiser is doing based on every little adjustment that they make. Someone blows it up into a clickbait headline. But I think another thing that wasn't an announcement at this panel, but for me was very eye-opening, or at least interesting to observe, is the way they pitched Star Cruiser at this panel was verbatim, word for word, identical to how they pitched it last year, which to me says there isn't necessarily a gigantic pivot in how they're marketing it, which if it's doing as poorly as some people would guess it is, which it's simply not, that's just counterfactual, then they would obviously come out and do some new kind of pitch. But they hit the same bullet points with almost the exact same words at this one. And that makes me think, okay, the idea of it potentially being a more occasional / seasonal / less frequent experience than every single day, which is for over a year, there was new people loading into that every other day, which is just insane to think about.
Wow.
That ship hasn't been empty for over a year. Like there's never been an off day. And so the idea that they're building in this kind of, Equity Monday or only doing a couple cruises a week, they need to find the cadence of a more sustainable pace for that experience. And that doesn't necessarily imply that there's imminent doom. They're going to change the timeline. They're going to alter this, that, and the other, because they've really, it has been an exorbitant amount of investment in the back end development of how you interact with that story. And that's not something that's going to go away. And there's a lot of questions of how do we get people who have already come back to me, that's not the question. The question is, how do you get the people who haven't come to come, or how do you pitch it to them in a way they can understand? Because it does not seem that the current pitch is communicating the very unique structure of that experience to people. And it's hard to know what the right thing is because there's never been an experience like it before.
That kind of makes sense why, because I think for me, I already knew all the stuff in the panel, so like it didn't feel like a panel, it felt like an ad, which it was an ad, but I guess it makes sense that it's an ad because it's for the people who are in Europe who can't just drive over to a Disney park and they have to make a bigger trip out of it. But
right, but they stream both panels, so it's like the Star Wars fans who are watching this or who would go to Celebration in Europe probably watched the stream last year.
Yeah, right.
And there was also an extra little kind of question mark in my head because when they announced again a thing that was announced last year that they said was coming very soon, what the second album of the DJ Rex songs that he plays in the cantina, the volume 1 came out 2019, back when the park opened, and then this one's coming out now, and they announced that last year as well, and but now they're like, it's out, you can go stream it and all that. But there was one specific thing they said at the panel where they said everyone who attends the panel will be receiving a data card that will link them to the thing. And for I don't know if they're banking on people not remembering, but in 2019, when they did the panel and they said, you're going to get a DJ Rex data card, I have mine framed here. They gave you, this is a metal replica of the data card from Rogue One, that has, the Black Spire sleeve and all that. And so that they called that a data card, and then today they said you're going to get a data card. And when people started posting the pictures, it was a business card. It was a paper business card. And I was like, maybe we don't call it a data card. I mean, it is a card that has data on it, but it is a paper card, and the data is just words. But yeah,
maybe not as fun to frame.
Not exactly. Yeah, right.
We have a data card right here. It's called Freddo's.
That's
wonderful chocolate frog that we ate today.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Give us the review. Give us the review. The
sponsored by Frog Lady.
How was it?
Yes.
Freddos were good.
Yeah. It's just like a chocolate frog. The real star of today. Sorry to hijack the conversation here, but
please.
These Tunnocks tea cakes are delightful.
Oh.
It's like a little cake. It looks like marshmallow, but I think it's like whipped cream.
Oh, that's
this little chocolate thing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Oh, that looks...
Shout out!
You guys are live streaming, right? This is the way to do it. I'm telling you. I didn't kind of snatch
to Star Wars Sessions, our friends from the UK, who had like an amazing party last night.
They did. It looked fun. It looked fun.
Yeah, they sent us all these British treats to help us out. Gave us a little bit of the UK. Now look at this.
Oh,
it is like a marshmallow.
Yeah. Now what? Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, but it's not marshmallow. I think it's like whipped cream or something.
It's like whipped cream with like a nougat.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That looks great.
Very, very good.
Speaking of food reviews,
Carol's boyfriend Sean is cheering for the tea cakes. Right on, Sean.
I've got a little food review as well. I don't physically have the food with me, but in something that was not announced at the Disney Parks panel, I think they've been holding back a lot of things for May the 4th around the corner. They haven't been releasing any new merchandise or food. There's a new puff pastry at the milk stand in Galaxy's Edge, and it is phenomenal. So it's not yet in East, I think, but in West at the milk stand, you can get this puff pastry. It was named to be vaguely inspired by the little bread portions that Rey makes in the Force Awakens, but it's more of a strudel type thing. And so it's got this great coating on top as well as a filling inside. And so, having waited a while for some new Galaxy's Edge food, I can say 2 thumbs up. It's delicious. And that they should have talked about that on the panel. They should have bragged about this puff pastry.
Why didn't they?
Yeah, I know. There wasn't really that much food conversation, right?
They also didn't talk about any of the merchandise that was announced a year ago that hasn't come out yet.
Oh, they're like, we hope everyone forgets. With the data card too.
I never forget. That's why I'm sure I'm on some list with them, because I never forget.
Yeah.
Now, did I see a comment about Holly, who just did the most
fantastic
my goodness,
job? Holly.
She was the most amazing host of the panel.
And
honestly,
Holly.
I had people messaging me, she sold the Star Cruiser better than the Imagineers did. And I said, I agree with you.
Yeah,
absolutely. That personal connection. and those kind of, and she just gave one example. The way she talked about her connection with Wani, that's just one little corner of it. There are other nooks and crannies throughout that ship that are always happening simultaneously for those who are Star Wars fans to find their way in. And they've really constructed it in a way where, you know, maybe talking to a Rodian isn't your thing. And some people are quite intimidated by Wani because Wani is not speaking English. Wani is speaking Huttese.
Mhm.
And so it can be very, you know, you're kind of culture shocked talking to Wani, but there's every other kind of intimate sort of, we call them the shoulder tap moments of come help me, I need your help with this mission. But for all the different sort of flavors of Star Wars fans, there's something like her Wani for that. Oh, that's a good testimony for Holly's podcast there. They booked a cruise based on her description. Absolutely. And anyone you talk to who's gone on it, they just have their own little window in on the story, and kind of that's the beauty of this form, and the sort of my one soapbox about this format and why I've been waiting for an experience like this for so many years. And I've been kind of a groupie of the Imagineers who made this, doing all the little experimentations over the last decade or so that led up to it. This is the type of thing where you're not being told a story. You're being shown the evidence of a story having happened, and the audience is telling the story to each other. And that's the magic sauce, is because of that simultaneity. There are rooms all over that ship. Scenes are happening simultaneously. You've got to sort of collaborate with your fellow passengers to figure out what is happening on this ship. And the only way to get a full picture is together. And that's the type of thing that no other art form really can provide. Obviously, video games can get close, but to do that in the immediate personal way, with live actors bringing characters to life, that you're breathing the same air, they're staring into your eyes. There's nothing like that, which is kind of why, even though a lot of folks want to go in with a character name, like my name, I have a Star Wars character name or something. I say, unless that's like your main bag, role playing and all that, using your own name short circuits some kind of primal thing where when a character looks in your eyes and says your real name, it bypasses the suspension of disbelief. And there are just these micro moments where I found myself like, you know, you're phasing, like in and out of, just like the buy-in becomes so immediate because it does not necessarily require that suspension of disbelief. So yeah, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Now it sounds like I am giving a timeshare presentation. I am not. I do not work for the Disney company.
Yeah. Nick, I'm just curious for like folks like my dad who likes to just go on vacation and just sit around. Or is that accessible for, you know, like, let's say, you know, we bring those who are maybe not really into the big immersive experience, but just kind of want to relax? Is that available? Like, you know, how easy accessible is that for them?
Absolutely. I think it would be, and they might find themselves getting more involved than they think, because
Yeah.
it's kind of explicitly designed to target those people rather than like me.
Uh-huh.
You know, like they know they have me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they've actually trained the actors to how to identify and kind of gently stick their toe in the pond of how interested a guest is, and to not assume why they might be standing off to the side, and finding unique ways to give them the opportunity to approach the character. And so I will say, unless he's going expecting a sort of like, again, it's not they were absolutely right in saying at the top of the panel that it is not a hotel.
Yeah.
It does not have the amenities of a resort that you expect. The service is unprecedented. It's the type of service that Disney hasn't done in a very long time, quite frankly. But like, you know, there's no things you would expect from a hotel. And quite frankly, it's been built in a way that it can't be run as a normal hotel. People are always saying this is going to be a failure. They're just going to run it as a hotel. It's like, there are a few key things missing that will make it pretty impossible for them to ever run it as a hotel. But you know, if he enjoys seeing his family get into an adventure, I would say that it's the type of thing where it's indescribable to the point where he'll have fun in a way there's no analogy you can give him.
Mm-hmm.
But to see the other family participate, you know, and particularly if you're just enjoying some snacks or a drink at the Sublight Lounge, characters will invade that space as well. So
Nice.
the story is so pervasive, he'll be able to get a full picture of the broad strokes, even if he just doesn't follow any particular thread and just kind of like a leaf on the wind, just goes through it. He'll have his own window to it, and that's what's so unique about it. So again, there's not a massage facility as much as I wish you could go get a massage and they like put tentacles down on you or something like that, or I don't know, like oh, now the Borg Gullet is giving you a massage.
Who needs a massage when there's a full real life diva on board? We got some news about we got some news about her too. So that was really cool.
Yeah, the album that they announced with Gaia's songs, which everyone who's been on it absolutely loves. They announced it last year, and so we have a date, which is May the 4th. And then the May 4th is the streaming date, and then that they're also doing a vinyl pressing is fantastic. Unfortunately, they said the vinyl pressing is coming soon, and a year ago at Celebration they said the album was coming soon. So I don't know what soon means, and soon doesn't actually mean anything. So I'm not holding my breath on the vinyl, but obviously I'll be first in line when it does drop. So
next Celebration we'll get the date of the vinyl.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, that's and the next Celebration's 2 years away. Remember?
Yeah.
So. Hey, I'm a patient man. I can wait. Absolutely. You know, and honestly, I'm joking about this panel, but I am delighted that there were no kind of earth-shattering things that kind of shake the foundations of what I expect from these experiences that I love so much, because there was a degree last year where I felt like some of the announcements were catering to people who don't like Galaxy's Edge. And as someone who really likes Galaxy's Edge, I was worried that might follow suit for Star Cruiser. And so I was just delighted at the announcements we didn't get. You know, like, because I kind of braced myself for the worst of like, oh man, what if they kind of capitulate to some of the baser statements that some people scream out about Star Cruiser Online, but so none of that came. So, you know, I'm walking away pretty happy with the whole thing.
Well, it kind of makes sense to, if they want to open things up with Galaxy's Edge, like to have the Mandalorian and stuff, like that's where you're going to be bringing the little kids who are really going to appreciate that stuff. And people probably aren't bringing their young children on Star Cruiser. It's, you know, they might, but it's more so if you're on Star Cruiser, you're not just looking to see Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian, where if you're going to Galaxy's Edge for the day, that, you know, that's probably where, you know, you want to see him.
Absolutely. And who knows, you know, one of the things they did and did not announce is that there will be new characters coming, but they didn't even imply what series or whatever they're from. I assume that means more. I mean, Bo-Katan seems like an obvious one. You know, you know, any kind of helmeted character is particularly attractive to them. I mean, they gave Kylo Ren a helmet even when he's not supposed to have one. Yeah. So
that's because
my one hope is that they kind of
Ray, they can't find an Adam Driver.
Exactly. And it's also interesting which characters they allow to speak and which they have pre-recorded, because, you know, the characters they allow to speak, there's just a huge potential for more interactions and kind of unique adventures with them in the park. And obviously the most amazing experiences I've had in Galaxy's Edge have been with the Rey walk around, who is much more open to kind of a conversation with you about Star Wars. Ahsoka, I could see Ahsoka coming, absolutely. And, you know, there's been broader sort of Force-related lore around Batuu that's expanded with, like, the VR game where they revealed that just beyond the outskirts of Black Spire, there's an ancient Jedi temple. So I don't know if that will ever actually have any implications for the park itself, but, you know, it's one of those things where it seems like they've kind of established the planet as a catch-all. Anything in the Star Wars universe can happen there, so...
Well, the nice thing with the Mandalorian kind of universe stuff, though, is even though it's not the right time frame for what Batuu was supposed to be, all those characters are consistent with each other. So it's not like the Mandalorian's hanging out with Clone Wars Anakin, hanging out with, you know, someone from... I mean, the Secret Trilogy people are still there, but it's almost like, you know, those days, it's Mandalorian time, and all my friends from those shows are hanging out.
Right. So and it's one of those things where they haven't fully abandoned the timeline for the land itself. You know, their pitch back when they announced Mando and Grogu was that they're just in a narrative bubble. You know, that moment that they appear, you're seeing a portion of their story. Now, that being said, I don't recommend trying to figure out what that story is, because when you go up, and ask them, the answers will not satisfy. They are there for you to get a picture with them. I'm happy. I wish that there was a more curated way, because they're walking around in a circle. I think people would be happier. The people who aren't interested in the story of the land would probably be happier if there was a queue that you could line up and know that you're going to get your. It's rather than standing around saying, "Will Mando come out today?" There's no guarantee he'll come out today. It's one of these. We can't even tell you when he's going to come out. So I think that to satisfy the urge of having these new characters be available for photo ops, I think a more curated environment, as we used to do in something like Star Wars Launch Bay, and they still do at Star Wars Launch Bay in Florida, but they have yet to reopen in California. I think that's a better satisfaction for that urge. But obviously there are powers that be that I think honestly are even higher up the chain than the Imagineers who are making those decisions. So I think I'm an old man yelling at the clouds. There's nothing more. I'm just happy. Look. The land itself is still when it is and where it is, and we'll know the fundamental shift if they ever take the Mandalorian's helmet off the wall in Doc-Ondar's. So that'll represent a more seismic shift in their approach. But for now, it's like the land is the land, the rides are the rides. It would cost them tens of millions of dollars, if not more than that, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, to change the timeline of that land in a kind of meaningful, overarching way. So that's not going to happen in our lifetimes, I don't think, unless they just say, look, the land is the land and the rides are the rides. When you go on Rise of the Resistance, you're in the sequel trilogy, and when you go on Smugglers, you're whenever we decide you are, and the land is just its own thing. That's certainly possible, but there are so many very specific narrative moments that have literally been etched into the foundations of that place that I don't see a sweeping change happening anytime soon, which, I mean, obviously now that I've said it, it will occur, just so that I am wrong.
Well, I was thinking of that with the announcement of Daisy Ridley coming back as Rey.
Yeah.
And I was thinking how that will make Rise of the Resistance really interesting, because by the time that movie finally comes out, we'll have a new Rey, and she won't look like the Scavenger anymore. She'll have whatever Jedi Master Rey will look like. Do you think there could be some sort of, I mean, she might still be with BB-8 in that film too. We don't know. Do you think, could you see a seismic shift happening then, because we're going back to the sequel trilogy at that point?
I would say my prediction on that would depend on when that movie ends up coming out, just strictly based on budgetary. That ride cost more than any ride that's ever existed on the face of the earth. That ride costing as much as it did is why the land doesn't have all the things you expect it to have, and why the missions aren't on the Falcon ride. And so I don't see them investing a significant sum of money into altering Rise of the Resistance, because it's less, I mean, Rey is a hologram. You could change the hologram easily. I'm thinking of the Kylo animatronic. That's the one where they commit when they decided to have the finale of that ride be a Kylo Ren animatronic. They locked themselves in for a long time, unless they just change his costume, make him into a different villain, and change the animation, which is possible, but I don't see that being that. I can't think of a precedent for that kind of change in a ride.
They could put a blue sheet over him, make it seem like he's like some sort of Force ghost.
Well, yeah, and there is a B mode for when that animatronic isn't working that I have been desperate to see on the ride, but I've never seen, which is they cover him up and then he's in a TIE fighter out the window.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm dying to see that, but it's like he's always working.
Maybe in the new movie, Rey will have a nightmare, and the nightmare is going through the Rise of the Resistance ride. So now the ride becomes Rey's nightmare.
And then they can add a bunch of surreal projections on the walls, just like concert lighting throughout. Yeah.
It's like Mr. Wild Ride at that point.
Yeah. Rey's scary journey.
It's Rey's hell.
Yeah.
Rey's nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Any more thoughts, Nick, on the parks panel or just Disney parks in general? I know you're just such a fountain of knowledge. I talk about all the time. The first time I went on Indiana Jones Adventure in my entire life last year, and I got the most amazing curated experience of the queue with you pointing out, and this map originally was the original map, and then they figured out that it wasn't supposed to, and hey, oh, Jason pushed that thing. It was just the most amazing thing. So I know
That is cool.
yeah, it
Mhm.
was it was such a highlight and such a great way to experience that ride for the first time. So I think I said it last year, but I'll say it again. Thank you.
Oh,
But
that was
any-
my honor. I'm so glad it worked. The timing worked out that I was able to be there for your very first ride. That was
Oh,
great.
yeah,
And
when-
now the ride's back open. You got to come back out.
I've watched it on YouTube. Well, that's a good question. I've watched it on YouTube, and I saw some comments you made about the ride on something. What's your feelings on this revamped Indiana Jones adventure?
I'm glad that they went through and cleaned it up. I'm glad that it's, it's still a very unwieldy ride in the sense that I'll just tell you, the first time I rode the refurbished version, the boulder wasn't working.
Oh my
And-
god!
and that and,
Oh my
and
God.
that is it's not even their fault. I mean, it's not their fault, meaning the people who work there now. It's kind of a fundamental design flaw of how the ride vehicles pulse through that ride, where like every third vehicle kind of has some there's a chance that the boulder won't be working when they get to it. Oh, did I see a Ronto Wrap question pop up there?
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a sidetrack. What's the power rankings of Ronto Wraps?
Well, I'll say of currently available Ronto Wraps, the breakfast Ronto Wrap in California is still my favorite.
Got
The
it.
breakfast Ronto Wrap in Florida uses a folded egg, which I'm like, there's actual like scrambled eggs in the one in California. The OG that you can get everywhere, to me, that's right below it. The Ronto-less garden wrap, pretty awesome. Like because it has a different every version of the Ronto Wrap has a different sauce in it, which I think is very clever.
Yeah.
Sadly, my number one Ronto Wrap is the one that is no longer available. In Florida, for a very short time, there was a chicken Ronto Wrap with diced cucumbers, and yet again, a completely different sauce. That was the number one with a bullet, my favorite Ronto Wrap they ever made. And I don't think it's ever coming back. So, and it never showed up in California.
It's fascinating. We should get
Gold
a-
belly Ronto Wraps.
I think about them every day. So okay, the Indiana Jones Adventure ride. So they
Yeah.
added some spooky projections. They added like this little gateway that you can't go down and the wall crumbles, right? This is just what I've seen on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the only new effect, basically to replace the one that never worked, which was the guinea pigs or rats or whatever jumping on, the smoke screen projection that was supposed to be a branch with rats jumping off of it. The smoke never reset in time, so that effect literally never worked. So now there's like some kind of opening the arc lightning that goes across the wall, and then it hits like a fake. It's a projection effect, so there's no like physical doorway, but they've made like a doorway thing. I will say, it's at the point where they might as well just left it a dark hallway, because the animation's not great. It's not necessarily cohesive with the rest of the attraction. But I am delighted that the rest of the attraction is all cleaned up, and it seems to be certain things that were prone to breaking might be less prone to breaking now. That's kind of the hopes. And certain show scenes where it was just like, man, they just turned off all the lights on the indie animatronic at the end at a certain point before. Now he looks good. He's moving well again. They've lit his face. They kind of, I don't know what kind of touch-ups they've done, but yeah.
Fascinating. Well,
It's still a fun attraction, and it's still, to me, one of the greatest queue lines that's ever been done for an attraction.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Silver, what were your thoughts on the Indiana Jones Adventure?
I actually went. When did I go? Last time. I haven't gone to the new one. I'm actually going to be going in a few months. But I did go last August, and honestly, it's since I was a kid, this was like a family tradition. When we go to Disneyland, we hit left and we go to the Indiana Jones ride first before we jump on Pirates. So it's probably like, it's definitely like one of my favorite rides of all time. So I'm actually really curious to see the little upgrades. I did go on YouTube to kind of see, but I don't go there frequently because I am in Northern California, so it's not like I can just pop in as much, but so it's really hard for me to kind of notice like the differences, but so it's going to be, so I'm kind of interested to see. I can't wait to go in a few months for sure, but it's a classic. It's great. Like that queue line, I'm never bored in that line. So
I only
it's-
wish they let you spend more time in it, because the way they kind of pulse it now, it almost feels like a holdover of the COVID era, where you do most of your waiting outdoors and then they make you kind of run through the indoor part. And it's like, come on, man, let us appreciate, all the great fun gags that they've installed in there. But yeah, it's still
It's
amazing.
pretty
And the
fun
ride
running
is
through there though, because I think at last celebration, because it was empty, we ran through it a few times, and
Oh,
it has
yeah.
its own excitement of running through that.
Yeah, the running.
You had
Yeah.
stuff to do. You had
Yeah.
stuff to do, absolutely. And that I don't think it's going to change anytime soon, because they actually did shorten the Sala video, assuming you're going to be running through it.
Wow.
So it's the loop in there. Like, even if you're caught there for like a couple of minutes, you're going to see it like 15 times. Yeah.
Jonathan made a good point. I was going to say Jason does that anyway. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Because Jonathan was there on the Friday night when we had the park to ourselves for the celebration night last year. Yeah. Any final thoughts? The panel, the parks, anything? Nick, anything you got?
Celebration in general this year?
Yeah, celebration
Yeah.
in general.
What were your
I
thoughts
think
on
for me-
celebration?
Yeah.
Looking back on the live streams, if I think of my favorite moment that brought me the most visceral joy of watching all the celebration live streams, it was when Dennis Lawson called J.J. Abrams J.J. Abrahams. I think I almost passed out. I had to.
That is honestly like that's I'm so glad. I'm so glad none of us are alone in that.
Oh my god. Oh,
Honestly, I'm just glad they're still doing a live stream, and I feel so like it's a marathon. Those live streams are so long. I feel so bad for Anthony. He's putting it in there, but man, this must be taking a toll on them.
Yeah, those three are working hard
Yeah.
doing the live
Yeah.
stream, and then if they're not on the live stream, they're running around interviewing all the people selling watches and nonsense. It's like they are the hardest working people there.
Yeah, or
Well,
at
yeah,
a
and our boy
panel.
Jamie Stangram. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well, and it
crazy.
seems like they have Jamie on the duty of interviewing the booths, right? And I'm just sitting here being like, these people don't know that they're talking to the creator of one of the finest Star Wars documentaries, The Empire Strikes Door, which to me is still far and away one of the great fan documentaries out there. And these people at the booths, they don't know this. He's just Jamie. He's just the guy with the microphone.
today Kristen Baver was talking to the 501st and the Mandalorian mercs, and you could tell she was tired. When someone is just like, yeah, so what are you doing? Okay, great. And she's working her butt off. Bless her, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Mad
Wonderful
respect.
person.
Mad
Wonderful.
respect. It's a huge effort.
Yeah, long days.
For sure.
Yeah, because we're tired and we're just sitting on the couch.
I know. We're just sitting at home and we're exhausted.
Yeah.
We've barely gone outside for the last 3 days.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Oh, we have a bit of news in the comments. Do we want to talk about a bit of new news?
Oh, there's news. Yes.
Entertainment Weekly article. I saw it right before I logged in to talk to you guys. I didn't necessarily interpret the news exactly this way, because I think the question was posed to her in a very particular way. But she did say the crawls are for the movies. And so I think it meant that she wouldn't be opposed to the movies having crawls. I don't know necessarily. It didn't read to me like it was a mandate, like your movie has to have a crawl. Not that I would be opposed to that. If they wanted to say this is how we're going to differentiate the films, absolutely, why not?
But it seems like they've already kind of got that, where Solo had its own version of a crawl with the little prologue thing, and Rogue One just didn't care, just jumped right into it. That
Yeah.
I would think they would keep that up, because we were talking about that though. If when the Rey movie comes out, is it going to say Episode 10, or is it just going to be a crawl that just has the name of the movie on it and leave the numbers behind?
Yeah, my kind of expectation on that is I would be shocked if the Ray movie was called Episode 10, because to me
Yeah.
that almost commits to another trilogy, and I don't think they're interested in doing that right now.
Mhm.
I think they need a movie to hit, and they need a movie to hit bad. And even though they did not say the order these movies are happening in, all of the kind of rumblings around these productions seem like, even though people are expecting the Ray movie to be the third one, I think the Ray movie might be the first one.
I think so
I agree.
too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
If I had to predict, I would say Ray movie, Filoni movie, Mangold movie.
Right.
Mhm.
In that
Yeah,
order.
I think the Filoni movie will probably be dependent on where Mando's at
Where
the
the
time.
show or all the shows,
Yeah.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because it's they're in a weird spot where if they say the movie is like the culmination, then they have to be willing to stop making the shows potentially, or maybe not. But it does seem like they would want to get a few more seasons in before they, bring everybody together for a big movie. So yeah, I think that definitely the Ray one, and we know the 25,000 years in the past has not even been written yet, so that's probably a ways out.
Right. And the idea that they were willing to say, because again, we didn't get too much information, but the fact that they were willing to say something as specific as it's 15 years later makes me think, even though they've hired the new writer, the bones of it might not be unlike what Lindelof wrote with his protege. And so potentially it's like, look, maybe they weren't as interested in getting across the finish line, which is a different job. Being a writer on a movie that's where the wheels are moving, and it's like you're basically helping the director do the director's pass. To have that kind of structural foundation first, we'll see. And ultimately we'll know a certain degree when the credits of the movie come out. We'll be able to see who has an ampersand and who has an AND, because those are very revealing differences.
Nick, any other besides what were like some of like the projects that were announced? Because a lot of news during the celebration, like any like this like shows that you're just really looking forward to.
I mean, I loved the first set of the Tales of the Jedi shorts. So obviously when you guys were speculating on it before, my whole thing was theme it to Jedi teachers, have it be Keller and Beck and Tara Sinube.
Oh,
because I would dig some old man Tara Sinube shorts any day of the week. So
for sure.
That's one where it seems like there's such a freedom of what type of stories you can do when they're short, and they're treating it almost like the Pixar Spark Shorts program, where it's like, let's get people who are young animators, let's move them up. This is one way to move people up the ladder, and that is what this industry has been sorely missing for so long, because usually you're just throwing young filmmakers fire. It's like give them build some rungs on the ladder for them to climb up, and this is just a great way to do that.
Well, you bring up a good point too, that it does seem like thematically the idea of the first one was the show is kind of masters and apprentices and teachers too, that it would make sense to keep that with the Jedi stuff, because I think we kind of talked about that early on when they came out too, of just that theme of more stories between masters and apprentices, and then behind the scenes it's the same sort of thing of doing this to be teaching and sharing knowledge too, so it all kind of goes together.
Absolutely. And to me it's just I have always, and that's why that group of shorts spoke to me so much. I've always in my mind compared Ahsoka and Count Dooku, because they both left. There's not many who left, and so there was always Joe Costa news story. It like hey man, if they just wanted to do a whole bunch more Dooku shorts, but it's just the other one's the rotating slot. It's always Dooku and then someone else. I would be perfectly fine.
Yeah, Jocasta knew would be cool. I just want her like shushing all the kids, like everybody in the library.
Man, the stuff they did with her, where she made herself a Kyber rifle to try and survive the.
Yes. Give us more
there's
Jocasta.
There's some meat on that bone still for sure. Yeah.
Were you able to see any of the I know a lot of the trailers they released weren't officially released, but we've been watching a lot of them in various ways. I have not been able to find the Skeleton Crew one. And the version of the Acolyte that's floating around is not the whole trailer. It's just like
the beginning.
I think that's the only one that's been out there. Is like 2/3 of it, kind of.
But no, I mean, I have a huge writer crush on Leslie Headland, and I feel like the the type of Star Wars story she is saying. She seems very much of my ilk as a Star Wars fan, and obviously she came up kind of around the same time I did, loving Star Wars, and I'm sure her and I were writing fanfic around the same time, and I feel like the type of shows she's making would be very harmonious with if you just gave me carte blanche to make any type of Star Wars show I would make. I think it would look a lot like The Acolyte, even though I wouldn't personally necessarily have any interest in telling it from the bad guy's point of view, but the ethos of the connective tissue between the prequel era and the publishing era, and just that kind of, what led to the Jedi. She seems to think about Phantom Menace on the level y'all think about Phantom Menace, and I count myself among them,
Yeah. When she was talking about Phantom Menace yesterday, it was like, it was music to our ears. We were just like, yes, every word she said.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the only thing I'll say, not having seen any of the footage from Skeleton Crew, someone did post a screenshot of the young Max Rebo species child, and between Book of Boba and this, we should all pour one out for Pablo, who lost the war on the number of limbs these things have. Like clearly the Kenner model won, and we just all have to accept that now.
Well, and Spina getting the final word from Tippett on it too. Like, they're flippers, not ears, and it doesn't matter. He's got arms and legs. That's just the way it is.
This debate happens in every fandom. There was a version of this a couple years ago in the Star Trek community as to whether the Delta Shield was an Enterprise logo or a Starfleet logo. And as evidence, they pulled up some memo, an inter-office memo from the original series production department that claimed this, that, or the other, and it caused a civil war. It caused a civil war but at the end of the day, what it comes down to is what is on the screen, right? An inter-office memo. It's fun as a kind of, we as fans can look at it as, isn't this a fascinating piece of history? And those are Max Rebo's flippers is a fascinating piece of production history. Not necessarily what made it on the screen, especially when you look at how they sculpted that guy in Book of Boba Fett. Those are arms, man.
Yeah.
With the action figure that's been out for 40 years at this point. Like that's
and I come from the folkloric side. Yeah. To me, the Kenner is part of the folklore of this storytelling, and I will always buy into that part of it, which is if you can incorporate the fan canon in a way that is, progressive and constructive, let's do it. Absolutely.
My take is
an interesting comment, the one you just popped up about the Acolyte being the most serious move in live action to take the world of Phantom Menace as the starting point for a story, building out the story of what a society is like. I feel the same way in terms of there are so many new types of societies established in Phantom Menace where you feel like they can splinter out, and the storytelling potentials, not just the Jedi and the Sith dichotomy, like the type of culture Naboo has is still really unique in Star Wars. And the way they've kind of been exploring it in other media, I think, could potentially also have some juice for live action or animated storytelling as well. So there is such a unique density of totally new ideas in Phantom Menace that, even though they had literally 100,000 publishing projects when that movie came out, I still feel like it's an untapped for sure.
The Acolyte, Nathan saying Acolyte feels to me the most on-screen thing, most like new canon publishing. Sure, yeah.
And I wouldn't overestimate that particularly, because even though it obviously has, clearly they've announced a High Republic character will be in it. I also get this sense just from that small snippet we've seen. Yes, it will be copacetic with the publishing. I think it's going to have its own tone completely.
Yeah.
Its own aesthetic and cinematic tone. I think it's going to have a very original voice in Star Wars. And that's always what I'm looking for.
Yeah, many cultures and institutions, in a way, Star Wars tends to think there's only one culture, Star Wars culture.
Yeah. And it's, Star Wars can be, at times it can feel too vast, but that's not necessarily, as long as there is still this beating heart behind it that feels like the same kind of Like, why did George get up in the morning back in 76? You know, as long as that heart is still maintained. And I'm all for projects that push the limits of that, because if this thing is going to live on as long as we know it is, and I've personally accepted I will die before I've seen, there's no completest blood in my body. I'm not going to live to see every Star Wars project, and that's just fine with me. But, you know, I do tend to harmonize with the types of Star Wars projects that feel like they're vibrating on that same frequency as what George was kind of like. What was he kicking off against back then? Like, why was Star Wars so refreshing at that time? What did it represent to the culture? And obviously culture has many cycles, but you know, and we as people are going to need different things at different times. I just hope the buffet stays long enough that we can all still, you know, me and even the Star Wars fans that yell at me all the time, I want us both to eat well. We should both eat well at this buffet.
Yeah.
Back to Max Rebo. I think perhaps on the planet, two things. Either perhaps on the planet, there's one part of the species that walk on their hands or use their feet to play the instrument, and then there's another species part, like the top half looks the same or the head looks the same, but they have 2 arms, 2 legs.
Divergent evolution, absolutely.
Or yeah, Max Rebo in Return of the Jedi was young, and as what are they? Otulians?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay,
Max Rebo.
Max Rebos.
Max Rebos.
Because like the kid in Skeleton Crew is young, he's a kid, and he walks on two feet, 2 legs. Perhaps when he gets older, maybe their bodies change.
He goes through it. He goes through a change. We've Max Rebos go through a change.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah,
we all change as we grow older. We don't know about the Max Rebo species. What happens?
And maybe it's when you get cut off, but all the vital organs are still up there. And maybe Darth Maul is actually a Max Rebo. Yeah. Yeah, no, if I was giving that impassioned monologue to George Lucas, he would absolutely insist that we talk about something like Max Rebo instead.
Yeah, let's.
A 2-limbed Otulian in the High Republic. Bill, is this a old or young 2-limbed Otulian?
The age range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Metamorphosis.
Metamorphosis, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we covered it all here. I think
we've got
I think we So what are your plans tomorrow, Nick? Are you going to be watching any of, because we got the Bad Batch in the morning and some other stuff. We got Visions, some exciting stuff with animation coming.
Maybe we'll get some trailers tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I only have one hope for tomorrow. Detours.
Yeah. Nick, let's talk about that, because what was up with that? They came out a couple weeks ago or so. It was a photo that said coming to Disney Plus, right, in 2023.
That part I don't know about. That part I think I don't know where that came from, but a new poster, or at least a poster we've never seen before for Star Wars Detours, appeared on IMDb at the end of last month. And there's no other information about who made it. It looks modern. It does not look like oh my God, yes, this comment,
Please.
A Droid Story news. I mean,
yes, Bill.
Come on. And that's I was kind of hoping. I don't remember which panel it was. Oh, was it the Return of the Jedi anniversary panel where Warwick was ribbing with Anthony Daniels a little bit? You know,
yeah,
they do. They do.
I wanted someone just to pipe in and say, both of you, chill out. You both have canceled Disney Plus series.
Oh.
Stop bickering. You're both in the same boat.
Yeah.
But Droid Story was hands down my most anticipated of that batch when that batch of projects came out. I also wonder if that might have come under the axe of the kind of shift in the perception about Mando stuff, because I almost got the feeling there might have been a Grogu aspect to that thing. Because they were saying that the droids were going to help bring up a new hero. And so I think maybe when the thinking changed about Mando, maybe the thinking changed about that. I'd love to be wrong, and they're just like, never mind, May the 4th, Droid Story coming out, you know.
Yeah, I still wonder how much of this too is like Rangers of the New Republic, all the New Republic stuff getting moved from its own show into mixed in with Mando, because you could have R2 and 3PO. What are they doing in the New Republic, or what's 3PO doing in the New Republic, and tying some of that stuff in as well.
Absolutely. And just I want more ILM animation because I'm a huge Rango fan.
Yeah.
And they never did another feature, right? So that
they had the Frankenstein that got canceled, right?
I dream of it.
Well, and that's what I think when I think about Droid Story and what happened to it. I'm just like, well, ILM, right, kind of around when Droid Story was introduced, we had COVID, and so much of ILM started working from home, and I feel like just people have just slowly begun kind of working back in buildings. So many people are still working at home. I wonder if the workload changed and Mandalorian took priority, the new shows took priority, Andor, Book of Boba, whatever, all took priority, and it was kind of like Droid Story. We can finish that anytime.
Right. And ILM is they're probably as busy or busier than they've ever been for a long time, with just all the stuff going on between all the shows in production at the same time. And if they're still trying to do movies and other things for other companies, like
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it would be a perfect timing to give them a break and just release George Lucas's final animation project that has 39 finished episodes. Right. That would be a much easier thing to do, is to just take them off the shelf. And it was funny. It was like, it was during the Clone Wars panel when I love Amy, she's awesome, but she said this was Clone Wars was George Lucas's last Star Wars project, and I'm like, how much did they pay you to say that?
Yeah, somewhere Seth Green was crying. I didn't know why.
But yeah, I mean, this poster that dropped for Detours, it's possible that it's old and it just kind of surfaced randomly. No idea why it would. But man, Brandon and I were talking about it. It looks like titmouse art, or in that style, in that kind of minimalist style. And none of the other key art we got when Detours was announced looked anything like that. No. It was just screenshots with kind of the logo overlay. None of them had that kind of 2D illustrated style that this one has. It just feels like the type of thing that would be generated for a Disney Plus drop at some point. So I think the best way to release it is quietly. Don't draw any attention to it, and let the people who want to find it. And if you're worried about how it affects the brand, just don't blast it out,
Well, that was almost with when the Ewok films showed up. There wasn't a lot of fanfare about them. There still isn't a lot of fanfare about them. They exist. They're out there.
And the transfers are fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I know we've talked about that many times with the holiday special, that we keep getting these teases of this high quality holiday special that seems to exist. Like, what was it in Book of Boba Fett when they showed that footage? And I think we were messaging back and forth. We were like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, it's slightly better than the broadcast master that we found a couple of years. The fan community kind of has access to now. It's definitely like one generation better. So it feels like they have like the version before they sent it out to the Chicago broadcast, like where they sent them out to everyone. There's one generation before that, and it seems like they have that. It's never going to be HD. It's locked into SD forever. But
it's fine,
except for the animated sequence, which they have yet to scan. They have the film, but they've yet to scan it. So I'm hoping they just need to do like a Kickstarter or thing and just let the fans pay for that thing to be scanned in 4K, because the animation was finished on film. So we can get an HD version of the Boba Fett short for sure.
Oh man.
Speaking of which, I see it on my screen. That's my Dromboid transmitter right there.
Oh yes!
Oh my God.
Look at
that.
Yeah. Bravo!
Yeah, we all have our hopes for that. Well, the very few have and it's fine.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's like if it never happens, it'll be fine. I understand why they wouldn't want to. Me as kind of a immersive designer puzzle guy, I think they should lock it behind a puzzle, like on the old DVD menus.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you have to really want it to get to it.
Yeah.
Well, and then one last thing. Did the last week's episode now of The Mandalorian I know you were a big fan.
Yeah.
We were talking in our episode for it that there were some serious holiday special vibes in it. Were you picking up on holiday special vibes?
I need to go watch it again. I mean, certainly tonally, you could call certain aspects of it a segment of the holiday. Like if you cut to the croquet game, you know, like you could absolutely imagine that. But it was honestly, it was an assault on every sense in the best way. You know, like it wasn't even the holiday special buttons that were being pressed, and I was being delighted on a level. It was just, it was one thing after another, you know, and honestly, I had to pause the episode when Chris Lloyd said Count Dooku was a visionary. I was like, okay, folks,
Yeah.
I need to breathe into a paper bag for a few minutes here because, yeah, this is too much. Like, this is sincere. My wife looked at me. She's like, I think Jon Favreau might be spying on you.
Yeah, there's a certain type of fan. Yeah, we were saying the same thing, that when we made eye contact with him at the Mandalorian experience last year, we feel like we might have transferred some energy into that.
Yes. Yes.
We might have mind melded.
Or he bugged us and has been listening in recordings.
Because there's the watching of the episode, and then there's the reflecting, thinking about it, and then there's when I actually imagine Favreau sitting down and writing it, and I just imagine him giggling. Count Dooku name drop wasn't on the bingo card. Yeah, it's these things where I didn't even dare dream them. Keller and Beck was the big one for me, where it's like, I couldn't even dream that would be possible. And I was so happy when it happened. I now truly feel like anything's on the table. Like we were talking about the other day, the Marfa-Lump, it's going to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's no way it doesn't. It would be weirder if it doesn't show up at this point.
Exactly.
It would be weirder. It would truly be bizarre if the Pepsi alien doesn't show up on it.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
Well, and then like shortly after, when we were talking about Marfa-Lump, somebody said Marfa-Lump is at Lucasfilm, and they found the old Rebels Recon video of Marfa-Lump still at Lucasfilm.
Just hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah, what is it? It's Rebels Recon.
I didn't know there was a physical model.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they posted a picture of them.
Was it with Pablo? Was it with Pablo Hidalgo in the picture or in the video? Right.
It was Pablo and Andy. Yeah.
And he's just chilling in the back. It's like, oh, he exists.
Can we pull Jonathan's comment up? Marfa-Lump is the one who broke Gideon out.
Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It was in the Pepsi promo ship too.
Yeah.
It was a
learning this season, anything can be a Mandalorian, so why can't Marfa-Lump? Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows all about cans of metal.
Yeah.
They cut to the cockpit. Yeah. They cut to the cockpit, and it's being piloted by Pizza Hut girl.
Yeah, look at this.
Yes, it's wild.
Rebels Recon.
Yeah.
And in the background, you can clearly see Marfa-Lump.
In the flesh.
Man, I missed those recap shows. Those recap shows were great.
Well,
it was a different time.
Yeah, it was a different time. It was a different time.
At this point, I don't know if we're going to be able to top Marfa-Lump talk. So maybe,
I think
it's time to wind down.
And I think
none of us can possibly.
I think that leads in nicely to a commercial we can queue up before we get into our wrap up here. But Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so honored to be here.
This was
good
so
talking
much fun,
to you all. So much fun. And after tomorrow, let's all sleep good.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Especially the good West Coast folks.
Oh man.
Yeah. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Nick.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Everyone, we've got to save the Queen.
We're under attack! Mr. Jar Jar Binks, come for comic relief.
Emergency landing on Tatooine.
No! Pod racing is wet. Love you, Mom.
Love you, Padme. Oh no, Darth Maul! My brains are spilling out!
Oh, joy. The end.
This is the weirdest date I've ever been on. I'm out of here.
Go you must.
Farewell. Bye-bye.
Star Wars Episode 1 cans collect all 24 this summer.
Woohoo! All right,
We're back.
we're back.
We're back. How's everyone doing?
We're hanging in there.
What
We
a
are-
day.
Yeah,
What a day 3.
Yeah. Like I said, honestly, it feels like the Villains of the Sequel Trilogy was a week ago, and it was this morning. But like we say every day, we're living the celebration lifestyle at home. We're sleep deprived.
As best we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleep
Not-
sleep deprived, eating weird stuff.
Yeah.
Eating
Yeah.
weird stuff, not having a good full meal. Yes.
Falling asleep randomly throughout the day. All of the things that happen.
Yes.
So
So what do we have tomorrow? We have
so the big one, I want to give a shout out before we start going through the big stuff. Tomorrow is our friend Kara DJ's panel over
Yes.
on the fan stage.
University stage.
Yes. University.
Yes. Fan speculation throughout the years. That's going to be so cool.
Everybody, if you are in the UK, you got to go. What do we know what time it is over there?
I'm pull it up right now. Let's see. I got it. Tomorrow it's gonna be at 12:30. Yeah, it's gonna be Star Wars fan speculation on the university stage at 12:30.
Yeah, Kara DJ telling us 12:30. So if you're in the UK, you have got to go to this panel. It's going to be Kara, our friend Michelle. Kara, who else is on the panel besides you and Michelle? Right? There's somebody else, right? Yeah.
Let's see.
Kara will let us know. Fill us in.
Only cool kids will be able to attend this one, so everyone show up to the
Well,
panel. Show some
Anyone can
support.
attend, and if you attend, you become a cool kid.
Yes, exactly. That's true.
That is the absolute truth. So, what else have we got going on tomorrow? Oh,
Visions.
Yeah, Robin. Oh my God, how could we forget Robin? Robin Arnold, big Blast Minds fan. Shout out to Robin Arnold. It's going to be maybe the second best panel that ever happened at Celebration, besides the Creatures of Return of the Jedi last year, which was the place to be.
It's the place to be tomorrow.
That's the place to be tomorrow. Actually, I think it's going to be the best panel to ever happen at any Star Wars Celebration ever. So, but the big one Monday morning is the Bad Batch. The Bad Batch. That is the big Celebration stage panel. Look, your dogs are freaking out. They're ready for the Bad Batch.
They're ready for the Bad Batch. They're still not over a certain Bad Batch member. So yeah.
Yeah. Who are your dog's favorite Bad Batch member? They're all tech fans.
Yeah. They're mad.
Yeah. Well, they're acting like Wrecker right now, so they're ready to smash through this window because there's a squirrel tormenting them right now.
Hopefully, let's hope the Bad Batch panel is streamed. It was streamed last year in Anaheim. Let's hope it's streamed to all of us at home, because I know we're all really looking forward to that. I think a season 3 announcement is imminent, right?
You would hope so.
You would hope so. So, and I still have the theory that because Bad Batch season 2 was delayed for so long, that 3 could be coming quicker than we think. Maybe.
If they can find time a place to put it out. That was the hard time last time. There's too much stuff.
There's over on the collecting stage, there's collecting Star Wars stamps.
Ooh.
I know, that should be pretty fun. Looks like Mike Quinn is going to be on the live stage. A little 9 Numb action going on. Yep, there's Kara DJ going on. Let's see. Visions Season 2 is also going on, which again, Vision Season 2 comes out in a matter of weeks.
Yes. On May 4th. That's insane.
So you would think there's a trailer tomorrow. So
you would think.
You will see.
You would think.
Yeah.
David making a very good point. Looks like it should stream given the start time of the day. So.
Ooh, early. Another an early day for me.
Yeah. Go to bed. Matthew Wood is going to be on the live stage. The crowd is going to go insane.
He was there today.
He was there, but yeah, he was with a group of people. But Matthew Wood,
Oh, that's true.
alone.
Solo. Matt Wood, yeah.
The Pinewood Talks, Breathing Life into Creatures and Droids. That's going to be going on tomorrow. Doug Chang designing Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Mandalorian on the Galaxy.
Oh.
That's really good. Let's see what else we got. And then we got the closing ceremony. So tomorrow is kind of a little bit more laid back day.
Yeah.
And we may potentially find out where the next celebration is going to be tomorrow in 2025. There are plenty of rumors out there. Some seem more believable than others. We'll find out tomorrow. It's either going to be a great day for everybody or a confusing day for everyone where life decisions will have to be made.
It will be a great day for somebody and a not great day for someone else, depending on where they live.
Yeah.
It is every time.
Yeah. How
But
exciting.
the most important thing is, go to Kara DJ's panel tomorrow.
We need to get our friend Luca to head into Kara's stream.
Get Luca there.
Luca!
Can on Luca's YouTube, is there a way to contact him from the YouTube?
I'm gonna find out because I want to like Luca. There's a couple panels. Your diehard fans are wishing you can attend.
Yeah. Like seriously, we will send him a prize package from Nerd Matters if he can go to Kara's panel and stream it.
And then while Luca's there, please cheer our friends on by screaming Mandalorian.
Yeah. Well, you can probably get Nerd Matters to go to the panel and talk to Luca too. You won't even have to wait for us to share stuff. Nerd Matters is there.
Nerd Matters is there.
Yeah. So sure, he loves Luca as much as everybody. So.
Well, anything else you want to add, Silver, before we sign off on day 3?
No, but you know what? We did have a cosplay contest that I think let's check out any. Let's see. I'm looking at the hashtag.
What do we got? What do we got on there?
I think everyone did the hashtag, correct? Okay. I see our friend Maria.
Oh, let's see. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm gonna show it on my because we're super tech here. There we go. She's sporting Padme, everybody, from Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. You can never go wrong with Padme.
Yeah, it's day 3 of Star Wars Celebration at Home. In honor of Blast Points and Star Wars Thrifting. Yeah, Attack of the Clones, Padme. When we love Attack of the Clones, so already a favorite. Let's see. And I think that's it. Maria, you won.
Yeah.
Did anybody else enter?
There's Instagram too. Let's check. Did you check?
Oh, did you guys get Instagram? Okay.
Let's take a look. Let's find out. But you know what?
You guys, we probably got tagged and stuff. Let's see.
I think Maria is already a winner, though.
Yeah, I think Maria, you're a winner.
We're very technical here.
Yeah. Yes.
Maria.
Okay, yeah, we got one more from Ash and his Poe cosplay, and we got.
Yay, Ash! Oh, that's super cool.
Awesome.
But you know what? Maria and Ash are both winners of some Nerd Matters prize packages.
Yes, we have some prize packages. We also have some cool themed. Let's see. All right, so for Ash, you got this super cool from Disney Parks. which be heading your way. Don't worry, it's packaged. I bought one for me, then I have one to give away. So that's on your way. Maria, you have a droid. The prize for that is a droid from Galaxy's Edge, which I will send you a picture when I get to my garage. But yay, and plus Nerd Matter swag too. You guys, we have giveaway gifts. Can't we? This is yes. So I'll be heading. Ash, I have your address. Maria, I'll get in contact with you.
Yeah, and don't forget the amazing Ben Quadraneros Nerd Matter swag. So straight from London. So
The reason for the season.
yeah.
Yes.
Ben Quadraneros.
So anything
This
else?
was- This
Anything
was
else?
fun.
Yeah, super fun. Super fun. We got one more. One more. Can you believe it?
Yeah, that's insane. One more day.
One more day.
The time might be different, right? We might even hop in a little bit earlier tomorrow.
Yeah, folks, stay tuned to our social media because we might be popping on a little earlier because celebration might be ending earlier. Gabe's got to get back to Illinois tomorrow. So and we're exhausted.
Yeah.
We're all exhausted.
I have to get home before I collapse.
I was like, I think I should like get adjusted to like my normal time schedule before I have to go to work on Tuesday. But that's just how celebration is. You know, we're in our own little bubble, and then we have to like go and get culture shocked when we go outside and be like, oh wait, normal. Yay, Ash! Ash also sent a lightsaber contest, was part of the lightsaber contest yesterday too, which was super cool.
Look at this. Maria Noel and Ash now best friends. That's beautiful.
Yes, I love it. Okay, guys, I'll be getting in contact with both of you guys. Also, I have one more. Let's do one more giveaway for tomorrow, and I have some more homework for you guys. It's an art contest tomorrow. Everybody in the chat, give us a drawing, an art of your favorite Star Wars celebration moment or anything that you're looking forward to in Star Wars that was announced. Draw, paint, whatever, and go ahead and send that, tag us, or send it to me in my DM, and I'll keep track of that. And actually, our friend Roberto, he's a artist. He's gonna donate some prints for the winner. So let's I don't know if you guys know Roberto. He's has some really cool art. Roberto Venegas has really cool does really cool super art, and he contacted me and said that he wants to donate some art prints for this art contest. So let's so give us your guys' best artwork. Let's celebrate some artists that we have in the chat.
Like I said, stay tuned to social media when we say what time we're going to be going on tomorrow. And yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll have one more commercial to see us out.
You guys know these commercials are the best. So
yeah.
We will see everybody tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, everybody. Thank you.
bye, guys.
Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3. First, they took the streets. Then they took it all. But their next target may be their last victim. Charles Bronson, where there is no justice, there can only be vengeance. Charles Bronson, Death Wish 3.
Now playing. Consult your listings.